our next speaker, Ramakrishna Salam.
We'll quickly start with the Hanuman mantra. It's a very simple Bija mantra, and then we get into details. So I'll say it once, and then we'll repeat it 5 times after that. The mantra is very simple. It is Ham Hanumate Nama. 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 Yeah, as introduced, my name is Ramakrishna Salam. So I came from the Telugu states, Hyderabad and Andhra, but I'm settled in London now. I work for University of Banks in the UK. I'm here for this week, and then I'll go back to London after this to see my parents in Hyderabad again. So I'm here to speak to you about the Hanuman mantra. Guruji assigned this topic to me, and Shamalaji two different parts. My part was Hanuman mantra, and that's also Hanuman as we saw earlier today. So there's some background to the way Guruji assigned this mantra, this topic to us. So we'll go into it towards the end. There's an interesting episode about that. So I'll let you know towards the end of this. So we'll continue. So in the one hour session that we're going to have, we're going to discuss about various Hanuman mantras and how to apply them, and also some background. I'm sure this will change the way you think about Hanuman, and also it will help you to practice the meditation in a much better way when you go back. So that's my intention. There will not be much of Jyotish charts here because this is more about mantras and lot of Sanskrit text. So we'll be going into the mantras more detail, but less of charts. I'll start with the deep end. So this one is Panchamukha Anjaneya mantra. I'm not going to recite all the mantras. So there are a few mantras which I want to recite. So this one is the first one is called Dhyana mantra. So this is the 5 faces of Hanuman. So we'll start with the mantra and then I'll get to the details. So it is Vande Vanara Narasimha Prodasa Vaktranchkam Kamsapasa Paradadaram Pitamanam Vanara. The text is kind of different. There are multiple versions of this mantra, but this is a very powerful Panchamukha Hanuman mantra that is very popular. It was actually researched by a few people, but most probably the scholar from my state. He has produced books with the name of Sri Balasara Samhita. There are 3 volumes of this book, so most of the mantras are from those books. So this one is actually showing you 5 faces of Hanuman, as you can see. It's actually a Gayatri Swarupa. This form is supposed to be a Gayatri Swarupa of Hanuman. And you can see the mantra is talking about the 5 faces as well as different weapons. So for example, it mentions about Asi's sword, Pustaka is book, Ankusam is spear. So there are various weapons for all these 5 body heads. That's what we discussed in this sloka or in mantra. And one of them is called Khatwangam. Khatwangam is the technical meaning of Khatwangam is actually the neck of a cot or even a chair. That's the Khatwangam. But then what does it have to do with Hanuman mantra? So one of the commentaries is that Khatwangam is actually the spine of the humans and the skull at the top. So we are actually asking Hanuman to hold our spine and protect us and guide us to be erect and correct in this world. So that is one symbolic meaning of this word. But other than that, the main things of this mantra is that the 5 faces, as you can see, I'll just try to expand it. there's the eagle, which is the Garuda face, and then they are facing in different directions. So you can see that from the text. So south direction is Narasimha, west is the Garuda, the north is Varaha direction, and Hayagriva is the Urdhva, which is facing upwards. Now, these are actually combination of both Vishnu and Shiva avatars. So this is actually Hari-Hara Upasana. So both Hari and Hara, both of them will be pleased by this mantra. So that's a Hari-Hara Upasana. For each of them, there are various sub-mantras or texts that describe how they are benefiting. For example, the bow, the Varaha, for example, is Sarva Sampatkaraya, so it gives you wealth. And also there are some various gemstones attached to each of these godheads, and those gemstones actually tell you how they shine, how these godheads shine and appear to us. So that's a very beautiful way of describing Hanuman in Panchmukha Ajnaya form. We go to the next one. But that was the main start, because I wanted to start with the Dhyana mantra. This is one of the very powerful mantras. But then we start again back from the childhood of Hanuman. So most of you know the story of Kunjika Stara, who was an Apsara, or a nymph, a celestial nymph, and she was praying to Lord Shiva that she wants Lord Shiva to be her son. And Lord Shiva granted her the boon. And then when she was doing a penance in the Venkatadala hills, Venkatadala hills are again, it's mentioned in Parasara Samhita. Venkatadala hills are in Andhra Pradesh, near Tirupati Balaji temple. So there she was doing penance, and she was deeply praying to Lord Shiva that he be born to her. That's when Lord Shiva, his Amsa, is transferred into her womb through the Vayudeva. So there's a lot of story behind it. I think you can read through that, and there are some slokas related to that. And as a result of that, Lord Shiva's Amsa is born to Kunjika Stara. She took the name of Anjana Devi when she was doing the penance. So Lord Hanuman was born to Kunjika Stara or Anjana Devi in the Venkatadala hills. The birth details of Hanuman are given in multiple texts. But in Parasara Samhita, for example, it was given as Vaisakha Masa, Krishna Paksha Dasami on a Saturday, Mandavara, it's called in the shloka, Purnabhadra Nakshatra and Vaidhuti Yoga and midday. So these are the descriptions of the time when Lord Hanuman was born. The midday means that sun would have been in the 10th house. So I think Guruji had a session where he was going to discuss Hanuman chart, so I'm not going to get into the details of the Hanuman, not Hanuman's chart. But basically these are the Panchanga details of Lord Hanuman's birth as according to Parasara Samhita. In Varaha Purana again, there is a slight different version of Hanuman, Lord Hanuman's birth, which is quoted as Margashira and Shukla Trayodasi. Other details are not provided, but Lagna is quoted as Vrishchika, which again, I'll leave it to Guruji and other elders to explain more about. Then once Hanuman was born, he was actually a mighty child, as we know. He's a Rudra-amsha, Rudra-avatara. So he was displaying a lot of skills, a lot of strength. And one day, when his mother has gone out, he wanted to eat something, he was hungry, so he tried to fly into the sky, thinking that the sun is actually a fruit. This is a very basic story that most of you must have known. And then the consequent anger that Indra had, and Indra hit him with his Vajrayuda, and then his jawbone was hurt, and that's why he was one of the names, one of the meanings of the word Hanu is jawbones, so that's why he was called Hanuman. But there are other meanings of Hanuman, Hanu as well. But then, without getting too much into those details. So when Hanuman was thus was hit by Indra, the Hanuman's father, Vayudeva, was upset with it, and he stopped his air, the flow of air in the world, and it brought the whole world to a standstill. And at that stage, all the gods, Indra and Surya and everyone comes down and then gives Lord Hanuman a lot of boons. One of them is that he is invincible, no one can defeat him, mighty powers. So because of all of that, Lord Hanuman becomes much more powerful. But then those sets of Hanuman were broken. And hence he became a normal person for some time till the Kishkinakanda in Ramayana when Jamavanta tells him about his history and brings back the powers of Hanuman so that he can go and search for Sita in the Lanka. So that's a story. This has it's just I wanted it to form a background for our narration of the mantras, though it is actually common and words that we already know. Now we get into the more details of the Hanuman mantra. So first of all, what is a mantra? The etymology of mantra is that manah trayate iti mantra. So manah trayate. So trayate is protection. So the moment, even if you think of it, it should protect you. That's the mantra. The moment you think of the mantra of the lines, it should start protecting you. That's why it's called a mantra. That's the etymology of a mantra. And
I'm very sorry, we will take 5 minutes to welcome our special guest, Sanjay Das Ji Maharaj, the National President of Sanhat Motion Sena, Shri Hanuman Rakhi Ayurveda.
Sir.
Very warm welcome.
So the Om mantra is there is a beautiful stanza of Om mantra in one of the Vedas. It is Omkar Vinu Samyuktam Nityam Jayanti Yogina calm in specific situations. And that's why I just picked up a few connections. But then these books contain a huge number of mantras like that. So if you start reading them, you realize that there are so many mantras. For you to highlight a couple of mantras. So first one, for example, is the Hanuman Valasakshara mantra there, which you can see here. Yeah, that's Om Sri Hri Kli Hari Markata Markataya Swaha. It's very powerful mantra. It's as well as actually. I'll repeat it again. Om Sri Hri Kli Hari Markata Markataya Swaha. So these are all Bijaksharas. The Sri Hri Kli are all Bijaksharas, and there's a reason why those are chosen for this particular mantra. Hari Markata Markataya Swaha. Markata is the Hanuman form, the Vanara form of Hanuman is Markata. That's why this mantra is very powerful. We also have this one, for example, the Sunkara Bandha Mochaka mantra, which is Om Namo Bhagavate Anjaneyaya Amukasya Sunkaram Trodaya Bandha Moksham Kuru Kuru Swaha. This is specifically for Sunkara Bandha Mochaka, which is basically if you are in prison or if you are stuck in a situation that you want to get out of, then this mantra will help you get that benefit. So Lord Hanuman will bless you with that. So this is another beautiful mantra for a particular situation. Then there is this Mrita Sanjeevani mantra, which we know, which is actually, I think most of us know this mantra because this is actually very useful for health problems. And if someone is in the hospital or undergoing an operation and we want to save the person or we want to pray for the person, then you can recite this Mrita Sanjeevani mantra. Om Sri Vam Yam Lakshmanam Pranadayaka Sanjeevani Aushadena Sakala Prani Jeevanada Hanuman Mam Raksha Raksha Swaha. It's a long mantra, but it's a powerful 38 Akshara mantra that we can recite. The last one I want to pick up, I was trying to help, I was trying to do this morning. So this is again mentioned in Bhagavad Samhita. The last one is actually a special mantra that you recite when you are going around the Hanuman temple. So when you are taking your parikrama, pradakshana around the Hanuman temple, is very easy as well. You can teach your children, for example, with very simple words. I'll set that here for now. Anjaneyam Mahaviram Brahma Vishnu Sivapakam Tarunaka Prabham Shantam Anjaneyam Namamyam. So this you will decide differently when you're going around the temple. They also say that when you're going around the temple, you need to walk so slowly and so carefully. You should not be rushing around the temple. They say that one of the Pravasika Kattas in Andhra, they mentioned that when you're going around the temple of Hanuman especially, you should imagine a pregnant lady walking around the temple on a floor filled with oil. That's how carefully you should tread the path. That's very symbolic of how we should be. We should not be running around. That's the beauty of that. So these are the main mantras I wanted to discuss today from the Parashara Samhita. There are many other mantras that we can. I would encourage you to read the Parashara Samhita book for further mantras. The next one. Okay, the next slide is interesting. I want to make it more interactive for you to think about it. The first one, number 5. Anyone knows what is that? Sorry? So different types of prasad. When you're doing a Hanuman puja at your home and you're making different types of prasad, then you make 5 types of prasad. Or when you're offering Hanuman some fruits, you offer 5 varieties of fruits. Or if you're looking to donate it to Brahmins, for example, then you can donate to 5 Brahmins. So that's number 5 is a very, very favorite number for Hanuman. So that's one useful thing. Anything else that you want to pick up? It's open to you. If you want to raise your hands and pick up anything. So the bananas, for example, are very favorites of Hanuman. You know that. So those fruits are offered to Lord Hanuman. What is the green round section there at the top? The oval section there? What can you see? Bananas and then what's the green one? Above the banana. Yeah, trees. So it's actually a plantain form. It's a plantain form. It's called Kadali Vana in Sanskrit or Rambhavali. That's the Sanskrit name that you use. So Lord Hanuman resides in Kadali Vana. So he loves those plantain forms. So if you one of the beautiful remedies that's suggested by elders is that if you pray to the gurus in a plantain form and offer them white clothes, that is a beautiful way of pleasing Lord Hanuman. So that's the plantain form. Then what else can you see? I know you are hungry, but so you see Medu Vada there. So that's actually a very good prasad for Hanuman. You can see that the picture where Lord Hanuman has been decorated by mala of the buckets of Vada. It's called Vada Mala. This actually is temple in Coimbatore. Now this Vada Mala is used in South India mostly. What is the equivalent in North India? Anyone? Any guesses? They use jalebi or jangri, sweet. So the one fundamental difference is that in the south historically there was more salt available. So there's a salt dish. It's actually kind of salt with along with other ingredients. Whereas in the north it's a more sugarcane based cultivation. So there was a sugar dish which is jalebi. But there's something common between them. Apart from the taste, there's something more common between those two. And that's the real crux of this prasad. Not okay, shape is one, but one ingredient level. Urad dal, yeah. So urad dal is the common ingredient in jalebi and the vada. And urad dal is actually a good remedy for which planet? Rahu. Rahu's remedy is urad dal. So if you have a Rahu Dasa going on, or you have problems because of Rahu Dasa, then offer this prasad. That will be a good way of pleasing Lord Hanuman. What else can you see? You see some more things. You see betel leaves, palm leaf. So that's again a favorite for Hanuman. This decorated there. The temple on the right hand side is the Shiva So, please, some of the mantras. So, Adi Shankaracharya has written Pancharatnamala, 5 gems of Hanuman mantras, Hanuman shlokas. I'm not reading that, it's just in the interest of time. Vitakila, Visayacham, that's how it goes. You can read that from there. And also, one more popular reference to Lord Hanuman by Adi Shankaracharya is this Gnananjala Shalakaya. Do you remember where you encountered this? Gnananjala Shalakaya? Correct, yes. So there's a Guru Mantra. So we reach out the Guru Mantra. So in that, there's 12 slokas. In that, there's Gnananjala Shalakaya. So Shuru Pinitam Yena. That's why Sri Guru Maha. So that one, the Gnananjala is actually referring to asking Lord Hanuman to remove the collyrium in your eyes or give us the wisdom. But also, I think Adi Shankaracharya used this word specifically because he wanted to refer to Lord Hanuman here. The meaning of that is also mentioned at the bottom, so if you want to read that. Now we come to another important part. So, no lecture on Lord Hanuman's mantra is completed without the mention of Sundarakanda. So, Sundarakanda is a beautiful way of remembering Lord Hanuman and praising him and adopting him into our lives. So, that's the Sundarakanda part. There are a few things that I want to mention about Sundarakanda recital. First thing is, there is a sloka that we need to recite before starting Sundarakanda Parayana, and that is, I recite that here quickly. Jayatati Baro Ramo Lakshanascha Mahabalaha Samruddhartho Gamishyami Vishtam Sarva Rakshasam. This is actually a very good way of starting Sundarakanda recital. Now, there are some special points about Sundarakanda that I wanted to highlight. There are just a few salient features. So, most of the slokas start and end with the word. So I'll start again. Tato Ravanita Sikaya Srikashana Yesha Almeshtum. Okay, I'm going to complete this separately. So that one sloka is the starting sloka of Sundarakanda, and you can see the start with Ta. And the last sloka of Sundarakanda also ends with Ta. Or most of the slokas start with Sa also. So what is the Ta and Sa? The significance of those two syllables in Sanskrit literature or Vedic literature? Any guesses for that? Guruji uses this mantra very frequently. Om Tat Sat. And also it also represents the Aksharas in the Gayatri mantra also. So Sundarakanda has got Gayatri mantra embedded within the mantras. In fact, every shloka in Sundarakanda is a mantra by itself. So the other thing is, in chapter 27, I think we had the discussion yesterday with Lakshmiji and also Sambhaji mentioned about Trikshaka Swapna as well. Trikshaka Swapna in Sundarakanda is a very beautiful description of a dream, but then there's a lot of esoteric symbolic meaning within that Trikshaka Swapna, and again it also describes Gayatri Mantra in a different way, and I think it's a very good way to please Lord Hanuman. Even if you can't read the Sundarakanda as a whole, you can even pick up just the Trikshaka Swapna, especially for women. If a woman is in distress or a woman wants help, I think the Trikshaka Swapna section of Sundarakanda itself is good to recite once. And there is also one more mantra within Sundarakanda. It's actually called Vana Hanuman mantra. This mantra is before Lord Hanuman enters Ashokavana, he recites this mantra. And that mantra is useful in protecting our fields and gardens, where not just humans, even gardens and fields also can be protected by Lord Hanuman's mantra. Especially we talk Vasanta Viva Nidile, that's how it starts. And that mantra in Sundarakanda has got that power of rejuvenating fields and gardens. The other mantra, as again Shamaji mentioned this morning, this is actually a very useful mantra when you are starting, when you are beginning to do some task. at the beginning of a task, when you start this mantra, it's very useful and that's towards the end. So it's Namostu Ramaya Lakshmanaya Devesh Tasya Jarakatmajaya Namostu Jayadevyo Namostu Chadraka Bhagavad. And this is what Lord Hanuman recites because after failing to find Sita, he realized that he didn't pray to all of them. And thus he recites this mantra and immediately after he finds Sita in the Ashokavana. So it's a very useful section of the Sundarakanda as well. Okay. The other thing is now we get into the mention of Lord Hanuman mantra in the Vedas and the Upanishads. Now this is a very drastic way of putting it because this is actually the first Veda that praise Agni Devata. Now what does it have to do with Lord Hanuman? Now in Taittiriya Upanishad, there is this phrase called Vayu Agni, which actually means that Agni is the son of Vayu. So using that link, if you interpret the same mantra, you actually get to know the meaning of the same sloka in a different way. So the first original meaning is actually praising the Agni Devata, but in the second interpretation of the same sloka, the second interpretation is actually referring to Lord Hanuman being the main deity there, and the yajna that he is performing is that of the friendship of Sugriva and Lord Rama. So that part is actually a very interesting way of bearing in mind the meaning of this sloka in Rig Veda. There's one more sloka that is Agnim Dutam Vrinamahe Votaram Vishwadesam Vishvedasam Asya Yajnasya Sukutam. This one again is an interpretation of Lord Hanuman, but then someone actually translates the different sloka, which is actually very commonly used. Manojam Bharat Trivegam Jitendriyam Buddhivata Varishtam Saranam Prabhati. This is again from the Vedas, the reference to Lord Hanuman. There is also one more reference to Lord Hanuman in Sri Ramayan's Upanishad. This Upanishad is actually supposed to be Lord Hanuman's way of expressing his bhakti towards Rama. And he says that this is actually the saying of Lord Hanuman himself. He says, Rama eva param brahma, Rama eva param tapaha, Rama eva param tattvam, Shri Rama brahma tarakam. So he says everything is Rama. And this is actually in response to a question that Sanaka, and other sages and Prahalada, they were asking the question about the tattva of Rama. That's how he answers the question. The next one we come to the Nama Avatara Anjana. So we see Hanuman as one avatara, one form, but apparently there are 9 avatars of Lord Hanuman, and that's what is mentioned in the sloka at the bottom. It says Ajay Prasanna Hanuman, Veera Bharati, Vimsati Bhujaha, Panchavatraka, Ashtadasa Bhujaha, Suvarchadapati, Chatur Bhujaha, Ashtama, the 8th one is Vakrimsa Bhujaha, Bhujamandalaha, Navamo Vanarokara, Navaropadruti. That's a slokam, and there are 9 avatars of Hanuman mentioned in the slokam.
Sorry to interrupt this wonderful lecture, but our special guest doesn't have much time, and he would like to say a few words before he will leave. But
have you introduced? Initially,
Hello everyone, we are very honored to have among us Sri Sanjay ji and Dr. Saab. Please come on stage. In morning we have visited Hanumangadi temple. So he is the Uttaraadhikari of the Hanumangadi temple. So we are very privileged to have him on our stage, and he would like to give his blessings and share a few words of wisdom among us. Thank you.
जय श्री राम। जय हनुमान जी। आज इस प्रोग्राम में मुझे आने का अवसर मिला। आदरणीय प्रतीक जी, यहाँ पर बैठे हुए परम आदरणीय डॉक्टर महेश दास जी, सामने बैठे हुए आदरणीय सज्जनों, आदरणीय हेमंत दास जी, मैं सौभाग्यशाली हूँ कि आप लोगों के बीच में आने का मुझे शुभ अवसर मिला, और आप भी सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम भगवान श्री राम के नगरी अयोध्या में आप लोगों को भी आने का शुभ अवसर मिला। ऐसे समय में जब प्रभु राम का दिव्य और भव्य मंदिर बन रहा है, जिसमें कि 22 जनवरी को आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के द्वारा प्रभु को अपने मंदिर में, अपने गर्भगृह में स्थापित किया जाएगा, और पूरे विश्व के, पूरे राष्ट्र के जितने भी जीव हैं इस चराचर जगत में, सब उनके चरणों में नतमस्तक होंगे। और यह जो 500 सालों से इसका जो भी चल रहा था कि कहीं न कहीं इसका पटाक्षेप हुआ और प्रभु राम का दिव्य और भव्य मंदिर बन रहा। ऐसे समय में आप लोग यहाँ भी उपस्थित हैं, यह अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है। मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम भगवान श्री राम क्यों मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम कहलाए? क्योंकि उनका आचरण, उनका विचार, उनका व्यक्तित्व, उनका नेतृत्व, उनका कृतित्व सब एक समान। इस चराचर जगत में जो भी जीव हैं, इन्हें कैसे जीना चाहिए, कैसे रहना चाहिए, वह कोई अगर सीखे तो भगवान श्री राम से सीखे। उन्होंने अपने जीवन काल में इस चराचर जगत में मनुष्य को कैसे जीना चाहिए, कैसे रहना चाहिए, ये प्रभु राम ने करके दिखाया है। इसीलिए जैसे भगवान श्री राम और भगवान श्री कृष्ण, भगवान श्री राम का जो चरित्र है वह अनुसरण करके इस जीवन को, इस धरा से आप पार हो सकते हैं। भगवान कृष्ण का जो चरित्र है वो वंदनीय है, वंदना करने योग्य है, लेकिन भगवान श्री राम का जो चरित्र है वो अनुसरण करके उस पथ पे, उस मार्ग पे आप चल सकते हैं निरंतर, और अपने जीवन को इस जो कालचक्र है, जो 100 वर्षों की आपकी उम्र है, उसको कैसे पार किया जाए, किस तरह से धार्मिकता का वोट लेके, धार्मिकता का एक आनंद लेके किस तरह से हमें चलना चाहिए इस जीवन में, ये प्रभु राम ने बताया है। इसलिए आप लोग सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि जो है अयोध्या नगरी में आए। आपका वेलकम है, स्वागत है, और प्रभु राम से मैं प्रार्थना करता हूँ उनके चरणों में निरंतर आप आगे बढ़ते रहें। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूँ। जय श्री राम।
I would like to request Honorable Dr. Saab to share his few words. Dr. Mahesh Das ji, welcome.
मनोजवम मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये। मंच पर उपस्थित परम श्रद्धेय संकट मोचन सेना के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष परम श्रद्धेय श्री संजय दास जी महाराज एवं परम श्रद्धेय हमारे सुहृद श्री प्रतीक भाई एवं संकट मोचन सेना के कार्यवाहक अध्यक्ष परम श्रद्धेय हमारे अनुज श्री हेमंत दास जी, और सर्वप्रथम तो मैं आप लोगों का हनुमानगढ़ी अयोध्या की तरफ से सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है कि आप हमारे यहाँ इस अवध की धरती में, राम जी की धरती में आप लोग आए हैं। इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी लोगों को। दूसरी बात, थोड़ी सी चर्चा आपको तो आप बता रहे थे, हम सुन रहे थे। हम लोग श्री राम जी को और हनुमान जी को इतना श्रेष्ठ क्यों हम लोग कैसे मानते हैं, थोड़ा सा विचार 2 मिनट हम आपको देंगे। श्री राम जी महाराज का चरित्र था, रामायण में महर्षि वाल्मीकि ने लिखा। कि दुनिया में कौन ऐसा है जो सबसे बड़ा चरित्रवान है। कोरनोस्मिन सांप्रतम लोके गुणवान कश्च वीर्यवान चारित्रेण च कोयुक्तो सर्वभूतेषु कोहितः। चारित्रेण च कोयुक्तः, दुनिया का पूरे विश्व का एकमात्र ऐसा वो स्वरूप था श्री राम का जो चरित्रवान थे। हम लोग रामचरित पढ़ते हैं। दुनिया में चरित्र, अगर जिस व्यक्ति का चरित्र महान हो उसका हर वस्तु महान हो सकता है। राम जी के सेवक श्री हनुमान जी भी हनुमानगढ़ी, जहां पर भगवान श्री राम ने स्वयं अपने हाथ से अयोध्या का राजा श्री हनुमान जी को बनाया, क्योंकि हनुमान नहीं सम बड़भागी, नहीं को राम चरण अनुरागी। राम जी के चरणार बिंदु का इतना बड़ा अनुराग, इतना बड़ा प्रेम, इतना बड़ा सेवक कोई दुनिया में हुआ नहीं, जिन्होंने अपनी मां को छोड़ा, पिता को छोड़ा, राज्य छोड़ा, एक अपनाया कि मैं प्रभु श्री राम की केवल सेवा करूंगा। क्योंकि सबसे सेवक धर्म कठोरा, सेवा करना बहुत बड़ी बात होती है। हनुमान जी महाराज ने श्री राम जी की सेवा करके और अपना जो अयोध्या के राजा हनुमान जी, सबसे बड़े पुत्र माता जानकी के हनुमान जी हैं। आप लोग सुंदरकांड की चर्चा भी हमारे भाई साहब कर रहे थे। सुंदरकांड एक ऐसा कांड है कि जिसकी आराधना करने से हनुमान जी सबसे ज्यादा प्रसन्न होते हैं, सबसे ज्यादा खुश होते हैं। और उससे पहले जिसके घर में तुलसी लगती है, आप सुंदरकांड पढ़ोगे, उसमें लिखा है कि जिसके घर के सामने तुलसी का वृक्ष होता है, उस तुलसी को देख करके हनुमान जी सबसे ज्यादा खुश होते हैं। और राम नाम सुनाने से हनुमान जी से बड़ा कोई मंत्र नहीं है। इसलिए हनुमान जी जैसा सेवक और राम जैसा स्वामी उसके दरबार में, उसकी भूमि पर आप सभी लोग आए हैं। इसके लिए बहुत बहुत आप लोगों को धन्यवाद है, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। ये आप सभी लोग यहाँ का आनंद लें और हनुमान जी महाराज का दर्शन करिए और वहाँ का आशीर्वाद लें, ताकि हर एक शक्ति आपको यहाँ से मिल सके। इन्हीं की वाणी के साथ आप सभी लोगों का स्वागत है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Very thank you to Sri Mahendra ji, and I would like to extend my gratitude to Sri Sanjay Das ji for coming here among us and blessing us. I would like to thank you all to support your show your extended support to Brahmstra Jyotish Camp, and I'm very thankful for you to come here. We have, are any of us left who have not visited the temple yet? The Hanuman? So few people have not visited here. Please, I'll be in touch. I'll arrange some very good darshan. Thank you.
Thank you all. We will need just 15 minutes and we will go for lunch. Please.
Thank you. So let's continue the mantra. So we were actually talking about the Vedas and Upanishads, and this is very long. So the last section you see there, that's a very interesting point I wanted to mention, especially to Jyotish students. It was actually alluded to in the lectures earlier. So Vedamurti, what is the Vedamurti? So Vedamurti, Guruji taught this in the PJC 2, right? PJC year 2. So these are all five different godheads based on the Tattva. These godheads do not have a human head like Hanuman or Ganesh ji. And these they are called Vedamurti because the knowledge comes from their actually the animal head that they have. The non-human head they have, the Veda knowledge comes out of that. And that's why they are called Vedamurti. The holy one, this is holy one through which the knowledge comes. Now, you need to identify your own Vedamurti. How do you do that? There's a specific formula given by Guruji or principle given by Guruji. So what you do is you look at your D60 and look at the Ketu's position in the D60 and pick up the planet associated with the Ketu's position. So the planet will be, the Graha will be either the Graha conjoining Ketu or its Lord. So you look at D60 and pick up your look at the Ketu as a Lord or the planet conjoining. And based on that, the Tattva of the Graha, based on the Tattva of the Graha, you see the lower portion, all of you? So, for example, if it's a Prithvi Tattva Graha, then you pick up the mantra Nandi Mukha Siddhi Rastu. So, Nandi Mukha is a Vedamurti. Siddhi Rastu is actually again a symbolic name, word representing the four Vedas, Siddhi Rastu. It's mentioned there at the bottom as well. So if it's, for example, Agni Tattva, then your mantra will be Hanumukha Siddhi Rastu. So the knowledge will come to you from those godheads if you recite a specific mantra. That's the beauty of this concept that Guruji taught us about Ketu and D60 and Vedamurti. I'll come back to this point later on. Note this very carefully because I'm going to ask a question towards the end of this slide, end of the presentation. So the next slide is actually about worshipping Hanuman on various auspicious days. This, you will not get this table in any book because this is actually a series of about 20 slokas in the book I mentioned, the Parasara Samhita, that collated everything and then made to tabular form. So you can So, for example, here what mentioned is on Chaitra Pushami Day, this devotee called Mahinda, who is a Brahmin, he prayed Lord Hanuman for his wishes and fulfilled his wishes. So that is the result of that day's prayer. Now, we will not get into the details of what the significance of those days. That's why I'm saying it's open for research. But then this has actually got a very beautiful list of all the types of problems that we get. And the solutions and the solutions in the terms of the days on which you have to pray Lord Hanuman. For example, this Margasira Supra Trayodasi, Somadata, the king of Moon, Chandra clan, he got back his lost kingdom by praying to Lord Hanuman on those days. So that's a very interesting collection of dates of Lord Hanuman, Lord Hanuman Puja. The other one is the annual festive occasion related to Lord Hanuman. If you can see, there is Hanuman Vijayotsav on Chaitra Paurnami that comes in April, Hanuman Jayanti, Hanuman Suvarchana Kalyanam. So Suvarchana is, I mentioned his name a couple of times earlier as well. So Suvarchana is the wife of Lord Hanuman, but then you have to understand the different types of marriage that happen. And Suvarchana was, Lord Hanuman married Suvarchana for as a spiritual marriage. You will get into the details of Vahana or Vivaha. A spouse is needed to perform some certain yajnas. And Suvarchana was the best person. She is the daughter of Surya. She was born of the race that was shaved out of Lord Surya by Vishwakarma. And hence she is the daughter of Surya, and Lord Hanuman married her in a very spiritual marriage. They were celibate, both of them were celibate. But the marriage is meant to complete their yajnas, like searching for Sita and other things that Lord Hanuman has done in his life. So Suvarchana and Hanuman together, if you pray them, that's a very auspicious and good thing for Lord Hanuman. Hanuman Vrat is also there on Margasira Supra Trayodasi. So these are the typical 4 days, auspicious days in a year that we celebrate. The other part is this one. So we mentioned about, in the first slide we mentioned about, or second slide we mentioned about the birth of Lord Hanuman. So if you pick up at this date, this year, May 14, 2023, all the Panchanga details that were mentioned in that Parashara Samhita description of Lord Hanuman's birth are matching with this. So Purva Bhadra Nakshatra, Krishna Dasami, Vaishakha Masa, and Vajrayana Yoga as well. Okay, so there's I want to mention a few other points from Parashara Samhita. So there in the slide, I'll share the slide separately with you. So, what is the Gotra of Lord Hanuman? Did anyone know before this slide that the Gotra, Lord Hanuman also had a Gotra? So he's already a Gotra, as mentioned in the Parashara Samhita again. Anjana Dharma Samputram, Kesari, Priyanandram, Kaundinya, Pamsor Bhavam. So this Gotra from Hanuman is Kaundinya. I'll come back to this point later. The next thing is Lord Hanuman, as I said, he loves to reside in the plantain farms. Swarna Rampavana Traha. That's a mantra for Hanuman. Now, Lord Hanuman also had a Vahana, a vehicle, and that vehicle is a camel. That's why it's called Ushtra Ruda. Ushtra is in Sanskrit means a camel. So Ushtra Ruda is a way of describing Hanuman riding a camel. So that's another interesting point. Now, the Ushtra Ruda, so camel is actually, the background to this is that when Lord, as you know, Lord Hanuman is the Rudra avatar. So Lord Shiva has taken the avatar of Lord Hanuman. When he was doing that, two things happened. Nandi, he's the Shiva's celestial bull, the Shiva's Vahana. Nandi asked to accompany Lord Hanuman. And so Lord Hanuman asked Nandi, saying, okay, fine, you choose a form of an animal, you can come and accompany me in my avatar as Hanuman. And that's when Nandi chose to come as a camel. Now, Mata Parvati also asked to accompany Lord Hanuman. So, how will Lord Hanuman bring Parvati into the world in his avatar? So, he asked her to accompany him as his tail. So, Hanuman's tail is supposed to be an avatar of form of Lord Parvati, Mata Parvati. So, people worship the tail also as a form of Parvati Devi. And there is a specific remedy, which is a very, very useful remedy. I think you can note down from the text, but I'll tell you. So you pick up a picture of Lord Hanuman with a tail, with an unobstructed view. So the tail should be completely visible from the body to the end, where there's a bell. And what you do is you start on a Tuesday or a Saturday. You apply tilak on the tail, one tilak per day, and start going from the bottom of the tail to the top of the tail. So you do it for 20 days, and then you come back again 20 more days from top to bottom. So you complete this in 40 days. So if you're wishing for something, or if you have some ailment that you want to get cured of, you do this. It's called Vala Agra Puja. Vala Puja. It's called Vala is the tail. So if you do that, then it's a very, very, very beautiful remedy to pray Lord Hanuman. And also when you do that on a daily basis for the 40 days, you recite anything, any shloka or any stotra, Hanuman Chalisa. There's a special Varagra Puja Stotram, which is mentioned in a very complex set of slokas. It's available on the internet, so you can search for that. So one of these you recite and then do this puja, and it's a very beautiful remedy. The other thing, a couple of other things. So there are cities where Lord Hanuman resides, and even uttering those city names is supposed to be like a beautiful mantra in itself. So it's mentioned there. So Kundiram, Sribhadram, Kusadarpanam, Pampatiram, Chandrakolam, Kambhojam, Gandhamadanam, Brahmavattapuram, Naimisharanyam, Sundaram, Nagaram. So these are the cities where Hanuman resides. There are other parts, but I think we can leave it, some differences there as well. The other thing is, this one is a beautiful, again, way of praying Lord Hanuman. It's Dwadasanama. Hanuman Anjanasurahu, Vayuputro Mahabalaha, Rameshah, Paluprasaha, Pingaksha, Amida Vikramaha, Udarikramascheva, Sita, Soka Vilasaka, Lakshmana Pranadadacha, Dasatgrivasya Darpaha. These are the 12 names of Lord Hanuman, and reciting them gives you various benefits, especially during travel. So when you are traveling, you recite this mantra, the travel is going to go smoothly for you. So this is a very beautiful boon that we got from Lord Hanuman. but then there is a tail piece here, the tail in quotes. So this is the Sashyamsa of two people. Right? Now can you tell me what mantra, the Vedamurti mantra that this should recite? I told you the rule. No, sir, Zoom. The second one? Alimi. Yeah. So the mantra is Manamukha Siddhirastu. Okay? Now this help me here because I will break down saying this. This is the power of our religious intuition. Okay? So Guruji picked up two people to talk about Hanuman Bhakti and Hanuman mantra. Shamalaji and myself. The first one is Shamalaji's chart and the second is my chart. So he randomly picked up these two people on one fine Monday morning. People were asking for being the volunteers for the Ayodhya Jyotish, and then people were just giving names. There were 10-15 names, and they were assigning various posts to various people. And then he picked up Shamalaji and said, "Okay, you do part 1 and Ramakrishna will do part 2." And there's one more thing. What is the Gotra of Hanuman? What Hanuman? So Shamalaji is Kodine Gotra before our marriage, and I am from Kodine Gotra as well. So that's the power of religious intuition. So he didn't see your charts, he just picked up the names and here we are. Okay, so that brings us to end on this session. So I hope you are like me and yeah, with this way Hanuman and the Yusuf Mantras and all these people.
Thank you everybody for your attention. Please